Paddy the Baddy is in free fall and he's got to catch himself. Now, I have seen this rinse and repeat 20 times, and I can tell you right off the top of my head. Here's what happened. Okay, Paddy the Baddy tasted defeat for the very first time. When you taste defeat for your very first time after you worked your way to the highest level, which is main event, title fight, nothing trumps it. If you can put those together and you can fight in a main event for a title, like, there's literally nothing above it. Now, you want to get that back. And for the first time ever, you have people questioning you. For the first time ever, you're not the hot prospect that is on his way to a championship fight because you just had it. You got a little bit of a rebuild, and Paddy doesn't fall too far. Paddy's still a top guy. Paddy could main event, isn't going to fall lower than a Co. Like, he's still in a good spot. But I'm not sure that he feels that right now. I think he's feeling a different way. Look, let me take you back to something known as yesterday. Paddy said, rewatch the Justin Gaethje fight, and that should have been a draw. Now, that in and of itself is fascinating to me. It tells me one of two things, right? Either Paddy's stuck in a moment, or Paddy doesn't take any of this too serious. Like, is he joking around? Is he having a little bit of fun? Well, fast forward, Paddy did another interview, and it led me to believe, no, he's not joking around. He's been very serious, but within his interview, he went in about 6 different directions. Hey, I'll fight St. Denis. I'll fight the winner of Charles Max. I'll fight the loser of Charles versus Max. I'll fight Sarukian. I don't care who I fight. Now, that is a sucker's mistake that is never made by Paddy the Baddy. And the only reason that I even choose to break down what Paddy the Baddy said is because Paddy the Baddy operates on a different level. Paddy the Baddy is Sean O'Malley-esque. He's Conor McGregor-esque. He's a guy that appears to understand what we're actually doing here. He understands to actually appear the business, but it's very hard when you go into free fall. And you go into free fall when your social media turns on you for the very first time, and when the guy you're looking in the mirror isn't the same guy that you saw a week ago. A week ago when you were brushing your teeth, you're looking at the #1 contender. A week ago, you're looking at a guy that might be main eventing the White House. A week ago, you're looking at a guy that was chosen out of 767 guys and gals to debut an entire network. And now all of a sudden, you're looking at a guy that doesn't have an opponent, doesn't know where he's going to go, isn't going to be for a title, isn't even necessarily going to be in a #1 contenders match. It's a tough spot. I've been there. All right, I recognize this. But I've seen a number of other guys. First time Mark Coleman lost. It was a very different sport back then. There was 6 events a year, just for example. First time Mark Coleman lost, it was to Maurice Smith. And all Mark wanted to do was fight again. He even said it. If the UFC doesn't book me, I'm going to go to Brazil and fight. And in Brazil, these weren't even televised. You're going to read about this on a .com if you can even get an internet connection. It's likely going to be printed in the back of Black Belt magazine 30 days after it happens, but still, that was the world that Mark lived in. Those few people that were watching and knew and paid attention and knew that he had lost to Maurice Smith, like, these were the people that he was getting up for in the morning. And I remember when Mark said it and going, hey, well, slow down. Hey, you're an Olympian. You're an NCAA champion. You're a UFC champion. Slow down. You're not the guy that has to just fight anywhere or has to go over to Brazil and get some fight in a back room of a dungeon just to tell people that you did it. You're not that guy. And neither is Paddy the Baddy. And when I say it's a sucker's move to say, I'll fight X, Y, Z, I don't care problem. If you don't care, then I don't care. I'd like to help Paddy. I really like Paddy. On a personal level, I really like Paddy. And Paddy is not the guy that you think. By the way, Paddy's married. Paddy's got twin daughters. I mean, just for example, like, Paddy's a real guy. He's not just out having some fun in the UFC. Like, this is a career and this is what he wants to do. And by the way, when it's all over, he's going to have something else to do. Paddy's going to go on and have a wonderful life. I would like to help him, but I got to look at it from this situation of, hey, we don't want to see you just fight anybody. We want to see you have a very specific opponent. And by the way, you do. You do have a very specific opponent with Ilia Topuria. Now, that's a fight that you're just not going to get right now. But everything that you do until you find another very specific opponent has got to at least point your cannons in the direction of Mr. Hand Sanitizer, which is one of these unfinished pieces of business we have. Paddy the Baddy and Ilia Topuria having loose ends are ever bit the same vein as Leon and Masvidal, and we've got this loose end. At some point, we would like to tie up, but it's got to make sense to get them together. Paddy the Baddy cannot be the guy that's just willing to fight anybody and he just wants to fight anybody and he'll take on all comers. And I get the message. The message is I am still that guy that I saw in the mirror. I am still that hot prospect. I am still the next big thing. I am still the guy that keeps all of you, rest of you up at night. I am still the guy that will make that walk on nights the rest of you won't do it. I get the message. And the message is important, but the words are more important. The specific words. If it ever comes out of your mouth, I don't care who I'm fighting, you're going in the wrong direction. Because if you don't care, you just made it impossible for the rest of us to care.